highlight of my day is going to be able to chat to you, beautiful gentlemen, and I'm happy out. I'm happy out.
Let's have your
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you,
Happy
brother.
New Year,
Let's
man.
have your thoughts towards the game, the board, everything, whatever you want to talk about.
Well, look, I mean, everyone who has seen me on here in the past knows that I'm Captain Optimism, and I normally have a lot of hope for. I like to have the most hopeful attitude towards what's ahead of us. But the thing at the moment is that we've been a lack of foresight has led to us being in a position now where we're caught between a rock and a hard place, because back before at the beginning of this of the season, I was thinking, okay, this we're in the best possible position. We've had a pre-season with Conte. We got the players in that apparently he wanted, apart from Spence. And when we did start off the season, we knew up until a month ago or so, we had the best start of the season that we'd had in a very, very long time. There was lots to be optimistic about. Unfortunately, since then, one of the things that we have seen, obviously, is an incredible lack of fortune with respect to injuries. And even today, I can't imagine that it would have gone down quite as badly as that if Kulusevski had started, because he is absolutely a linchpin in that team now. So the fact that we had him out injured again today, and they've said it's only for one match. Please God, he's back for Crystal Palace. But he's so pivotal to have in the team. But we still have Bentancur out, and we don't know for how long. So those two players out really messed us up. And the problem, the problem is, I was saying from the very beginning, I didn't believe that we were necessarily going to go on and do incredible things this season, because we need several transfer windows to completely rebuild the team. The concern at this juncture is we're in 5th place. We are going to get passed by Liverpool and Chelsea in no time now, especially when the upcoming games will be Crystal Palace and then Arsenal, and I think it's City twice.
Yep.
So we are going to be absolutely rolled over. I can't see at this point any chance of us finishing in a Europa League position, never mind a Champions League position, by the end of the season, no matter what we do in January. Because let's be honest, we would need a spending unlike anything that we're even capable of, never mind what we demand. We'd need a Gvardiol to come in and fix up that back line, because the back line is an absolute mess. We'd need to buy Martinez from Villa. We'd need Pedro Porro or better out on the right wing back position. There's too many things that would need to be done for us to go on and win absolutely every single game for the rest of the season, to make sure that we didn't end up in the Conference League position.
Yep.
Then we end up in a scenario where does Conte walk in that situation? Now, based on on the Alistair Gold message that you just read out, Brian, maybe he is still willing to take the time and have the patience and grow the squad. Maybe he's willing to be that project manager. Maybe. But maybe he walks if we don't get into a Champions League position, and therefore we can't get we don't have the appropriate leverage to be able to get good players to come in during the summer. So just put us in the position of so Conte is refusing. The only way we'd know for sure if he's going to stay is if he signed a bloody contract. But he's refusing to sign, which means that we don't know whether we can back him or not to be able to get him to the players that he specifically wants, because we can't go out and buy players for a 3-4-3 system if he's going to feck off in the summer, and then we get a manager like Poch back, who I would in a weird way, I'd be really excited to get him back, even though I'd be pulling my hair out at losing Conte. But he's not going to play a 3-4-3. And then, so we buy players that Conte wants, and then he's gone and we don't have his system anymore. The thing is, he has a very, very specific way that he wants to play. But the annoying thing about it is, as well, is we've become very predictable. We're playing the 3-4-3 every single week in, week out. And I love Conte, but I'm starting to be really, really concerned about every considerable permutation of what could happen with this club at this moment in time.
Adam, let me just
have landed ourselves.
Let me just say, because no, I just wanted to say, because you're like you said about the contract, the problem we have with the contract is Conte's got 6 months. Levy, apparently from what we're hearing, Levy wants Conte to sign before he's backed, because then he knows he's committed. Yep. But you've got to see where Conte stands, knowing that everyone has signed on that dotted line has been lied to by Levy and hasn't been backed with what he needs and what he wants. Maybe they've given money, which they spent atrociously 85% of the time. This is a real issue we've got at the club now, and I'm sorry, but on this I'm with Conte again. And that's not because of my hatred, or it is because of my hatred for him, for Levy. It's because how many people have been let down? Harry Kane saying, back my ambitions, I stay. And all these things. What we've got to look at is the chicken and the egg story. Levy wants him to commit. And even if he does commit and doesn't back him, Conte will walk. He's done it at Milan. He's done it at Chelsea. That contract, he'll walk. But Conte needs to show that, okay, back me. And it's a real predicament, isn't it?
It is. This is the problem. It's a catch-22 because he is not going to. He's not going to sign unless he gets backed. But Levy's not going to back a manager that is not going to stay more than 6 months. And it's not exactly like, fair enough. Levy's the one that's proved he's not reliable. But you also just can't take Conte on his word that he'll stick around if he gets backed. Because the thing as well is he could get backed. You could end up plagued with more injuries. We could end up in the Conference League position, and Conte could still walk. Do you know what I mean? Because we ended up with Bentancur's injured. Bentancur's been frequently injured. Kulusevski's been frequently injured. Richarlison's been frequently injured, and Bissouma is basically like a real letdown. Now I hope that he can kick things off with Spurs somewhere later on in the season or next season. Maybe he's just needing some betting in time, but he is really proven to be such a poor acquisition at this moment in time, and it's nobody's fault. You would assume it was a great idea. Do you know what I mean? But like it's not working out. So it just means that through if things had gone differently, if none of those injuries had happened, and we were at a point now where we weren't concerned about having to bring in another forward when we had so many, instead of going and getting the centre back that we need. What Conte has said that he wants to do is get a right wing back and get it forward, because clearly what he'd rather do is leak a couple of goals but score way more on the other end. Right. But I think from the Levy point of view as well, is he's like, well, I'm not going to go out and buy you a load of centre backs and then you're gone, and then I have too many centre backs for the next manager comes in and plays a back four.
6 defenders on the bench, Adam. 6 defenders on the bench.
And they're all
not good enough.
Shite.
And we can't get rid of them because no one will buy them. This is where we're at.
I tell you something, that those substitutions that were made at the end of the match today as well pissed me off, because they were such shop window substitutions. They had, after 70 odd minutes, they gave up. Yeah, completely gave up to bring on shop window subs, which is a disgrace. Because what they got, no one's going to look at Jed Spence in 5 minutes and go, maybe we should get him, or any of the Emerson Royal in 5 minutes of play and go, yeah, do you know what? Those were the best 5 minutes I've ever seen of any right back ever. I think we'll buy him. It's not going to happen. You
wouldn't buy him off for 90 minutes, though, would you? You certainly wouldn't buy him.
Exactly. You're not buying him full stop.
One thing I would do, Adam, one thing I would do, what do you think about this? I would be on the phone to Udinese or whatever club it is right now saying, I know you've got Destiny Aduje till the end of the season. How much is it going to take for us to abolish that and get him back now? I would do everything possible, because we were talking about Son. I want to see Perisic go up top and give Son some help, because there's a lot of heat being shown on Son. Warranted or not warranted, I am kind of... The one thing I am on the fence on is that. But I think Destiny Aduje, get him back.
I think he's going to be. I think he will be brilliant, and I think if we could bring him in now instead of waiting until next season, that would be unbelievable. It really, really would. So that's one thing to look at. You mentioned Son though, it breaks my heart to see him have such a woeful season. That he's my favorite player, but I'm also concerned that again, that little thing in the back of my head where it's are Tottenham better off with Pochettino at the helm than Conte? Because Conte is everybody else was getting a tune out of Son apart from Conte. Do you know what I mean? And Son was getting better and better and better until this season. He's got the golden boot last season. The dude is an absolute legend. I do think you're right. He's 30 now. He's going to start losing pace. Absolutely true. But you saw, he's basically, he's no different than Ronaldo. What you do is you end up just sticking him further forward as opposed to putting him on the wing and having to do the running. You just get him up front, and he has those extra few yards already because he's not coming in from the wing. So I think Poch would know what to do with him. I just feel like when Conte's playing the same system all the time and it's not benefiting that telepathy between Son and Kane even, I'm just really concerned. My optimism for having, yes, Conte is a trophy winner, but my optimism for having him there now is starting to really wane, considering the degree of the performances, even with the players that we have. That team that we have now, even though we know the back line is absolute dross and Hugo Lloris needs to be put out to pasture immediately, that team should have beaten Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That team should have
100%
beaten Aston Villa, irrespective of the fact that Son and Kane are not linking up and whatever. We should have beaten Villa. So what's going on?
Yep. I mean, what do you expect going forward with Palace? Final question.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping Kulusevski will come in and that'll change a significant amount up front in terms of the creativity. I want to see. Honestly, I want to see is I want Pedro Porro bought tomorrow, and then hopefully between himself and Kulusevski coming in on the right hand side, there'll be more creativity going up that flank, and then hopefully that would make a significant amount of difference. But we're going to have a huge between what is it, Eze and Zaha, and we're going to get our asses handed to us at our end of the pitch. So we need to be able to do more damage when we get our chances. That's what needs to happen.
Well, Adam, thank you very much. It's a pleasure speaking to you.